Good evening and welcome to Off the Lip, the show about surfing and skateboarding. If you'd like to join the show tonight, give us a call at 831-479-1080. That's 831-479-1080. And now, here are your hosts for tonight's program, Neil Pearlberg and Terry Campion.
Good evening and welcome to the Off the Lip radio show, broadcasting right here from Santa Cruz, California. What an absolutely glorious day today. Fog. The kids went back to school pretty much today, and the sun came out. Fog disappeared after 3 months of that.
Fogust is over.
Fogust is over. In studio tonight, we have Dr. Wallace J. Nichols, author of the New York and Los Angeles Times best-selling book, Blue Mind. If you haven't read it, you must read it. It is a must-read.
And
also,
if you don't read, you can get the whole idea today on the radio. So
you're gonna get the whole. Okay, well, no, wait, it must. It's a must-read.
Okay.
Also in studio to celebrate what he's gonna be talking about, the 25th anniversary. Is that correct?
20th anniversary.
20th anniversary of the O'Neill Sea Odyssey, and the work that they do is unprecedented. Also in studio, the man who's probably had more mentions on this radio show than Donald Trump himself, Mr. David Dennis from Ventana Surfboards and Microsoft Systems, along with my wonderful co-host, Mr. Terry Campion.
Hey, right on.
Who is who's become the video YouTube. You can watch this. You can watch the show on YouTube if you want.
Correct.
Or you can watch it right now on Facebook Live. If you go to Santa Cruz Waves Facebook page, you can watch the show live right there. All we need is to have the ocean flapping at our feet, and your listenership would be a lot more, I know, because the people love to see the ocean. But since I asked him first to come on the show, Dr. Wallace Nichols, I'm just going to call him Jay because I think that's what we're going to go by, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Your book, this book, Blue Mind, can you give us a little synopsis on this book? Because I know we want to go to the next book, which is called Go Deeper, correct?
That's right.
So give us a little synopsis, please, on what's been happening since this book came out and what the book's about.
Well, I wrote the book because I wanted to read it. I went to the library to check it out, and it wasn't there. And I tried to convince somebody else to write it, and they didn't want to. So I took 5 years and wrote it. And the book is about our brain, neuropsychology on water, on the ocean, lakes, rivers. I guess I would include bathtubs and showers and a nice big glass of water. So everything from a glass of water to the Pacific Ocean, and inclusive, and why that water makes us feel so good. And so I wrestle with those questions that we all have felt, and some people have great answers. Some of those people are poets, and some are neuroscientists. And so I kind of pull their words and their research together, and try to figure out what is this thing that keeps us so enthralled and in the web of wonder that the ocean and our wild waterways hold us in, as Jacques Cousteau would say. So it took me 300 pages to try to answer those questions, and I didn't answer them all, so I have to write another book, I guess.
Do you think that you're the person that wrote that book? But we could all write a book if we all wanted to sit down and write it with our own opinions. Like Dan has his own opinion of the ocean. I know David does. TC does. And we all do, right? We could all write a 300-page book, but you're the one that kind of like refers to the right. You're the first to the start line, all the finish line, as it were.
Yeah, I sat in a chair longer than most people are willing to sit and write, and so that I got it out. But I think it's a door opener. That if that book has done anything, it's opened the door on a new way of thinking and talking,
right,
and communicating about the ocean that
right.
I think gives us another tool in the toolbox.
A good point we were talking about before the show was, this Facebook Live thing that we're doing it tonight, right? Is that how people love to see the ocean live. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a million YouTube videos. There's 5 million YouTube videos of the ocean. You can go click on any one of them. But people, for some reason, I don't know what it is, they want to see it live.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Is there an answer for that?
Well, there's at least a shot at it, which is people want to see something that's happening now that they don't know that it's already in the can. So it's the reason why a really scary movie doesn't freak you out forever. Although when I saw The Exorcist as a kid, it freaked me out for a long time. But your brain knows that this movie is coming out of the can.
Right.
But when you're watching something that's live and you don't know what's going to happen and you know it's not edited and that nobody has seen what's going to happen in the next second before, there's something about that that's really more compelling.
Right.
And so the reason why they'll just, flock to a live show of the ocean.
Right.
And even though they could click over there and there's that recorded version right next to it.
TC's got a question, but I want to ask you one quick question. Do the people, let's say from Santa Cruz, the people that you talk to here in Santa Cruz or somewhere, oceanside, somewhere next to the ocean, have a different opinion to the people in Wichita, Kansas, or Lawrence, Kansas, and say you were just lecturing there? Are we different here because we live next to the ocean, or people have the same effect?
I think there's a longing, and I think if you talk to people from Santa Cruz who see the ocean every day and try to get in it every day, maybe surf or swim every day, and they get pulled away from the ocean, there's a longing that they feel. When it's a week landlocked, they need to get back. And if it's a month, or sometimes it's a year,
right,
and they're just pulled. People who live in the Midwest, who have known the ocean, also feel that longing, and they may work hard and save up and plan their trip.
Right.
And then there's a group of people who have never seen the ocean before, except maybe on your live streams, and
right,
they're imagining it, and they're imagining what it's going to feel like, and that's a whole different group of people, and it's really interesting to be with them when they get to the coast for the first time,
right,
and
right,
to see the look on their face. Some people weep, they literally just tears of joy. They just feel it. They feel that blue mind thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this is so much more than I thought it was going to be, because
right,
there's no way you can capture it in film or art or poetry. You just can't.
You can't take it for granted either. None of us here can take it for granted. I mean, Dan, you're on the ocean probably as much as anybody on the Sea Odyssey, I would imagine. I mean, I surf a lot. David, we all surf, but you just can't take it for granted. Imagine what this town would be like if they rolled up the waves and took them away.
Yeah, no, it would be a different town for sure. And we do take it for granted, and it's amazing because there are, in the case of O'Neill's Sea Odyssey, there are children who live near the ocean who've never been on it, don't relate to it, because they haven't had the opportunity to relate to it, in many of the ways that Jay talked about in his book. And so the O'Neill Sea Odyssey program, one of the things that we're able to do is majority of the students, and they come through their schools, had never been on or near the ocean before our program. And imagine we use the boat that we use, the Team O'Neill Catamaran, in our program as a living classroom. So we turn the ocean into a science lab. So the Blue Mind experience, the happiness of being near the water, the feeling you get, really enhances what they learn, and really intensifies their desire to protect it.
Right. What do you got, TC, over there? I can't see you.
Well, I can't see you either, but I just always think of like baptizing and how important that aspect of water is for that group of people, and how far back that goes, and how nowadays I think about how women are birthing children in water. And I think people have taken water for granted, and maybe this is something that you can touch on because of the fact that it's everyday life stuff. And then one more thing I was thinking about is surfers generally grow up and they're real mellow until it gets crowded. And then the mellowness, right? And then the mellowness goes away. So there's actually like this interesting thing about it's in one way the ocean can make you an incredibly mellow, grounded person. And then the next day, you can actually become violent in the ocean, and I think that's a real interesting too.
So there's two big themes there. The one that Dan touched on, and you just touched on, the way we value the ocean or undervalue the ocean. Because if you talk to people who try to figure out what's the ocean worth, they'll talk about seafood, they'll talk about the oxygen, They'll talk about the economic value and the ecological value, but there's this massive emotional value. And scientists and economists don't usually like to talk about emotions. And politicians try to keep them, while they use emotion, to win an election, they don't use it in their calculations for policy. But it is what drives our lives. It makes life worth living. And so whether it's baptism early on, or we were talking earlier, memorialization near the end, we need that water and that wild water as a place to do these most important things in our lives, end to end. And so that's something that needs to be discussed. We need to bring those conversations into the boardrooms. We need to bring them into the White House and the State House and say, look, this is part of why we do what we do. I mean, we devote our lives to protecting and restoring the ocean. Why? Because they pay us a lot of money? No, that's not the reason. It's a deep emotional connection that we can't shake. And your other point about the ocean is really addictive, and it does to our brain similar things that drugs do, but without the horrible side effects. But there are side effects, and you name them. So when the ocean's flat or crowded, you can't get what you need. You need that dopamine. If you can't get it, you're not going to be happy, and you might be so unhappy that you hurt somebody. And we can all share those stories offline, but it happens. Yeah. And it's dopamine. It's an addictive behavior. It's kind of like a junkie trying to get what they need. And if you're crowding them out, getting in their way, or somehow interfering, somebody's going to get.
Well, it's interesting in this town. If it's flat for 3 or 4 days, people are honking their horns and driving like jackasses.
I got flipped off today.
Yeah,
I got flipped off today by Tesla.
A couple of days of no surf, and the anxiety level goes up because our town is so connected.
Right.
And you see it.
Oh, yeah.
It's really visible, and some people may not, but if you surf, you see the tension with a good flat spell.
Right. Skydiving. We need to introduce skydiving.
No, I did that. I'm not doing that again. I jumped out of a plane.
Different part of the brain.
I did that. You're listening to the Off Deck Radio Show here tonight with my guest, Dr. Wallace J. Nichols, Dan Hafley from Sea Odyssey in Santa Cruz, so celebrating the 20th year coming up. I'm also here with the one and only David Dennis. This portion of the show is brought to you by TC. I got to blow him up. He scolded me.
What happened?
Curtis from People's Coffee said I've been blowing him off.
I just saw you today blowing them up. Social media.
Yeah, I know. I blew him up.
All right.
This portion of the show is brought to you by People's Coffee, 17th and Bromer. Great service, great staff, great coffee. Also, this portion of the show is brought to you by Surf City Sandwich. TC.
Oh, man.
I had this Parmesan thing today.
Hold it. I saw that on social media today, too.
Check out the shirt. Get the shirt.
Jimbo's new shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right here. TC, he said, Fig said, you pop in.
Yep.
And see him. You get a free shirt. You get a sandwich. You can get a free shirt.
I'm going tomorrow. Thanks.
Okay.
Fig, you're the best. Hey, and by the way, I always say, go for the potato chips and have a sandwich.
That's right. This is Neil and TC with the Off Deck Radio Show. Be right back. Don't go away.
That.
Hey, Dave here from Kayak Connection. Looking for a fun family activity on the water? We've got the perfect venues and equipment that's just right for kids and novices. And for the experienced paddler out there, we've got the cutting-edge gear. With both paddleboard and kayak rentals, tours, lessons, and retail in the Santa Cruz Harbor and Moss Landing's famed Elkhorn Slough, you can't go wrong with Kayak Connection. Maybe take a romantic starlight tour with us in the Elkhorn Slough and be amazed as the water beneath you glows with each paddle stroke. Or a wildlife tour in Santa Cruz where you'll see otters, seals, and maybe even a humpback whale. An experience of a lifetime, I guarantee it. Come experience for yourself, or with friends and family, the paradise of Monterey Bay's phenomenal marine life. Visit us today on Facebook or kayakconnection.com, or call us at 831-479-1121.
Good morning, Santa Cruz. Hi, it's Julie from Toyota of Santa Cruz. And I understand that you guys are sick of my ad. Well, guess what? So am I. So they drug me down here to make a new one. And I'm supposed to tell you how great our dealership is. Why? Because it is. We're selling cars like crazy. The new Tacoma, the 4Runner. We have over 500 new cars in stock. What else do you want me to tell them? How cute I look right now? We are the proud sponsors of Off the Lip. We've been their sponsors since day one. We appreciate all the business from the skateboard and surf community in Santa Cruz, and I am always here for you guys. Anytime you need something, just come to the dealership. Ask for me. I'm in the fish tank on the showroom. Can't miss me. I'll make sure you get a sweet deal. My name is Julie Fragoli, General Sales Manager at Toyota of Santa Cruz. Highway 1 at 41st Avenue in Capitola.
Buckle down and get caffeinated and do it.
All right, we're back with the Off the Lip Radio Show right here on KSCO, AM 1080, FM 104.1, KSCO.com. Streaming live right now on SantaCruzWaves.com. Also on Santa Cruz Waves Facebook page. We are Facebook living for the first time. This portion of the show is brought to you by my good friend TC the Beach Guy.
I saw him at an open house yesterday.
Steve and Diane Pereira. I know they've supported this show since day one. And a lot of people have though, but these guys, they were the first.
And not only that, they've supported our causes.
Right.
That's, community. We always talk about it.
Yep.
The Beach Guy always supports our causes.
Steps.
And I really want to give him a round of applause for that. I think it's amazing.
Thank you, Steve and Diane. We're here tonight with Blue Mind. We're talking Blue Mind. Everyone got the Blue Marble?
Check.
Got our Blue Marble. Check. On the phone right now, we have Richard from Felton. Richard, how you doing, buddy?
Excellent.
What's up?
I was just curious. You mentioned Jacques Cousteau earlier. I grew up watching those old color videos, and I was just wondering. I know one of his sons died, I believe, in a helicopter accident, and then but another one of his sons or extended family is part of an underwater community off the Florida Keys, and I was just wondering if you could maybe comment on that.
I'll see if these guys know about that. Thanks for calling, Richard. Really appreciate it. He wants to know about Jacques Cousteau and Florida and underwater. You know about that?
Yeah, so
okay.
Jacques' son, Jean-Michel, one of his two sons, has a son named Fabien Cousteau, who is an explorer and actually an economist. And he launched this project called Mission 31, and he spent 31 days in a laboratory in the Keys underwater. And lots of scientists came and visited him along with his team, and they conducted some fascinating research on ocean ecology as well as climate change research, and had kind of a who's who of visitors coming through. Adrian Grenier dove down and spent a little time and had a sandwich, and Sylvia Earle, whose birthday is today, by the way, the great Sylvia Earle.
Happy birthday, Sylvia.
Yes.
Her deepness.
We won't sing happy birthday, but we will.
No, we don't want us to sing it. We're not TC, and I don't sing anymore.
We're terrible.
Yeah, so Sylvia dove down and visited the Cousteaus down there, and so that's a family tradition that I think has inspired a lot of us. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about Go Deeper. Okay, you've got talked about the 7 points or the 7 ages of water that you took from Shakespeare.
I did.
Correct? You stole it from Shakespeare.
Straight up. I give him credit. Yeah.
Shakespeare in the book, he gets credit?
Oh yeah, big time.
Bill gets credit for this. Okay, tell us about the 7 ages of Go Deeper, please.
Yeah. So the structure of the book is based on something called the 7 ages of water, which starts at birth, ends at death. I borrow that from Shakespeare's passage, one of his most famous passages that's referred to as the 7 ages of man, that begins all the world's a stage and then goes through the 7 ages of our lives. And so I use that structure to walk through the human life and look at how our relationship with water changes. So we're, at 9 months, we're swimming in the dark, inside mom. And then we come out into the world, and the first, after birth, is play. And water is all about play. Splashing in the tub, learning to swim, jumping off the diving board, learning to surf. So play. And then we go into the 3 middle ages. And those are called the lover, the fighter, and the justice. And that's the main part of our lives, of the substance. And then later in life, you have ebb, which is where you start to slow down. Gravity starts to really impact you, and then death. And we return to the water. And so, we mentioned earlier, birth, baptism, and then at the end of life, memorialization. Water plays a huge role all the way through our lives. And sort of as a middle-aged man in that justice age where people, your kids and and maybe your colleagues come to you for advice more often as you get older. You need to balance out sometimes. You're carrying the weight of the world. You need to get to the water and just kind of reset.
Is it different for women and men?
Great question. Well, of course, birth is very different. I've talked to my wife about that several times. I've claimed that something was as painful as childbirth, and she, pokes me in the eye when I say that. It's not true. So birth is a very different experience for a man and a woman, and so is raising kids.
Not just birth. I'm talking about the whole.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think our roles in society are becoming more and more similar. We've got a big election coming up where, we could have the first woman president. Not to go political, but there's a good possibility there, and so I think we're in terms of being the justice, our leadership and our wise men and women, we have more parity in that regard. So the weight of the world is more equally shared. I think so throughout our lives. I think it's similar. Yeah.
So you got a question over there? I can't see you.
Well, I think a funny thing about that is I've been married 32 years because my wife's always right. And
she's the justice.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is, talking about a potential female president. I think more people are realizing that nowadays, and in the past, I think that was squashed a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest change that we're seeing in that.
Right.
So, can a woman be the president of this country? I'm not talking if it's Hillary this time or not. Of course, and I think it'd be something that would be good for the country personally.
Yeah.
Do you, what did you study for this? This is something that just. Did you wake up one morning and go, the seven aspects of life, or was this something you studied? And
well, I was familiar with Shakespeare for through school age, and I think if I was stuck on an island, the book that I would want with me would be Shakespeare's complete work. So I'm a fan. And one day, it clicked. I was like, well, that is such a good backbone. And there's when you're writing, whether it's a magazine article, a book, or an essay, a term paper, when you get a good outline, things flow.
Yeah.
If you really love your outline and love the backbone of your story in the book, things just kind of flow. And when you don't have that, it's hard. It's a lot harder. And when I got that backbone to the book, I'm not going to say the book feels like it's writing itself, but more so than the first one.
It's spilling.
Yeah.
So you just spoke in Lawrence, Kansas. Right, Kansas is the middle of the country. I mean, that state is the middle. What do you take from an audience, from a Lawrence, Kansas audience, based different to like a UCSC Santa Cruz, an audience? Is it a different cup of tea altogether?
It's there are some similarities in that if you're in Kansas, your water that is your go-to place is called a river. Or a pond or a lake, pond on a farm. But there's still an intimate connection, and it's still important. There's a kid that came up after the lecture there, who's an engineering student, and he said, I really love your lecture. It's very logical and appealed to my scientific mind. And I just realized that last weekend I took my girlfriend out and to tell her that I loved her for the first time. I brought my guitar, we went out, and I did it by the river, and I didn't realize that just instinctively I had to go get romantic by the water, and that's the age that I refer to as the lover, birth, play, and then the lover. Something about water is just super sexy and very romantic, and you just think back on your own love life and big proposals, big ceremonies, your first kiss. If there was water involved, man, it was better. Think of those scenes in the Titanic, when Leo DiCaprio's I'm the king of the world.
I'm thinking Sean Connery and Ursula Andress on the beach, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Uh-huh.
That's not.
How about Bo Derek?
Oh yeah. So imagine
Bo Derek.
Imagine Bo Derek with her, everything, and she's running through the desert. It's just not
boring.
No, it's not as good.
No,
it's weird actually. If she's wearing her underwear running through the desert, you'd be like, "This is not good." Right. But if she's got her, her swimsuit on, or she's running down the beach, it's like, Whoa, yeah.
Well,
so,
I mean, a wet T-shirt contest is better than a dry T-shirt
all right,
contest.
I think we're heading into like dangerous territory.
I know, yeah.
The unknown here.
When I put on a wet, okay, I'll bring this back. When I put on a wet T-shirt, my wife is psyched, and she says sometimes she throws buckets of water on me in the kitchen just to get my, my little
Show in the hell, show in the hell in a handbasket, quick. Okay, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get serious. I gotta talk about Dan. 20 years of the Sea Odyssey, correct? You're gonna be very. That's a very. That's a very. You're gonna be very proud.
Well,
And let me ask you, what does Jack think of it? Was Jack O'Neill? Because obviously he's the captain of the ship.
Yes, this is his project, and he's very proud because he likes to say, I never imagined it would come this far, and that's an incredible statement because the concept is so simple, which is you turn the ocean into a classroom. I mean, he originally saw the ocean as a playground and built a business on that for many years ago, and then he saw it as a classroom and built something around that. So it's amazing. It's something that he and his son Tim cobbled together with a boat and with a group of people who put together a curriculum. Back in 1996, they took out their first 2 classes from Mountain School and took Peggy Marcatello as the teacher, took them out on the ocean, and it started from there. So we, at the end of this year, will have served 90,000 students.
Have been on that boat.
Have been on that boat, and there are not a lot of repeats. It's about 5,500 kids a year. Last year was fewer because we had a period of time, as you recall, with El Nino. We couldn't get out of the harbor. But we have made so many strides with our curriculum, with what we've taught the kids. We supplement the field trip, which is on the ocean, with classroom curriculum that is aligned with the standards, Common Core, Next Generation Science Standards. We're going to be distributing this nationally. There are so many accomplishments that are there because we have an incredible team, incredible donors, and we're going to celebrate this in September. So we're gonna have a huge event September 17th.
It's funny how you two are kind of interwoven in a way, right?
Yes.
It's
absolutely
in some kind of shape or form where you have a big boat and you got a pencil, right? He's got a pen and you got a big boat.
He has a pen too.
Well, I know he does because you write for Sentinel. But it's funny, just a big boat and a pen, and you guys intertwine being able to teach.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe and people get to. I'm not teaching. People get to recognize the ocean for themselves.
And changing lives.
Right.
Because I heard an equation about the kids that took an interest in science strictly based on the Odyssey program. Was that maybe last time we talked here?
Yes.
A great percentage, right? Took an interest.
Yeah, it's because, you can learn science in a textbook. You can read a textbook in a classroom, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it could be boring, and you're sitting. And we've talked about water and the impact of water. You can get out and you can learn science. You can be in a lab, or you can get on the real lab, which is the ocean. And of course, the ocean's the largest feature on the planet, and there's a lot there. I mean, we talked about oxygen, we talked about currents, all of that. So it is something that stimulates these kids for science. But then the most important aspect of it, I think, is the outcomes, which are environmental. So the kids leave with a very strong desire, and we have studies to show this, that kids want to protect the ocean. They want to protect this because it is in danger. I mean, there are real threats that are out there, and you don't need a study to tell you that children learn when they're having fun.
Yeah.
And children love to learn on the water.
Special needs kids are on the
We have
boat?
special needs kids. So
Okay.
the Adam Webster Memorial Fund, named after Adam, who passed away, is 22, special young man in 1999. So, and there's a special therapeutic value for these kids. And I mentioned that I wrote about Jay's book, actually sometime a couple years ago, and talked about those kids specifically.
Okay.
There's another quick story I want to tell is we had some kids from a very rough neighborhood in Oakland back in 2003. They'd never been on the water before. Most of them had not been outside of the 6-block area where they grew up. Rough neighborhood again. They were below deck, and they were staring out the portal, and they saw the kelp, and they said, "What's that?" I said, "It's kelp." And I started explaining the kelp, and they go, "But it's moving. This boat's moving." He says, "Yeah, you're on the ocean." Like, oh my God. I mean, so this was, I mean, it just broke down all those barriers they had.
Yeah.
And had, I think, a huge impact, which it's hard to measure. But
Yeah,
something
that's-
that Jay, we talk about being intermingled, Jay has explored in his book.
Yeah. You're listening to the Off the Lip Radio Show right here on KSCO. We are live streaming on SantaCruzWaves.com or the Facebook page of Santa Cruz Waves. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Britannia Arms, located on the beach in the heart of Capitola. Enjoy the feel of a traditional English pub or pull up a table at their dog-friendly patio. Great English food. Can I say that again? Great English food. Bangers, baked beans and toast. What else can you want more than baked beans on toast?
Guinness.
You're always
and a Guinness.
Always supporting
down
English
to
food.
the Britannia Arms in Capitola. Also, this portion of the show is brought to you by BeginnerBoards.com. Safe and fun surfboards that give everyone the opportunity to have fun while surfing, with prices ranging from $40 to $650. You cannot beat the value at BeginnerBoards.com. For more information, call Brad Shelton at 521-8094 or go to beginnerboards.com. I'm here tonight with Dr. Wallace J. Nichols, Dan Hafley, David Dennis, and my good friend TC. This is Neil Perlberg. I'm the host of the Off the Lip Radio Show. I'll be right back with this very short break. Don't go away.
This is Brother Timmy.
And Cleo from Cleo's Corner at Pono Hawaiian Grill.
Featuring wraps, teriyaki bowls, plate lunches, amazing and creative salads, vegetarian and gluten-free options, and over 20 different types of poke, all made to order, fast, fresh, and healthy. And what's your favorite, Khalil?
The chicken fingers.
Located at 120 Union Street in downtown Santa Cruz. Call us for takeout at 831-426-PONO or check us out on the web at ponohawaiiangrill.com. We put the ono in Pono.
Attention surfers and paddleboarders. Don't let cold water or cold air take you out of the water for 5 to 6 weeks. Protect your ear canals with custom-made earplugs. The Listening Stack in Capitola is now offering custom earplugs molded to fit your ears perfectly, comfortably protecting your ear canals from the harsh elements of the Pacific Ocean. Stop messing with universal earplugs that don't work and try something that does. Mention Off the Lip Radio and receive an extra $20 off any custom molded earplugs in our store. The Listening Stack is located at the corner of Capitola Avenue at 41st. The Listening Stack. Protect, enhance, enjoy. 831-498-9890.
This instinctually.
And we are back with the almost the last segment of the Off the Lip Radio Show, broadcasting from Santa Cruz, California. This portion of the show is brought to you by Santa Cruz Mountain Brewing. Oh, I love Santa Cruz Mountain Brewing. Award-winning. Dave, you've been in there a few. This is just your world over there, the West Side. You've been in there. You've blown the froth off a couple.
I don't actually drink, but I love going there.
I know. You know why? Because they got that great deck, right? It's
awesome.
It's a local spot where all your pals are at drinking, right? They got great beer, local certified organic brewery with 7 flagship ales. They've got draft root beer, kombucha. There is something there to please everyone. That is the Santa Cruz Mountain Brewing Company, Swift Street Courtyard, 402 Ingle Street in Santa Cruz. Dave, you ready? You want to do your spiel? Come on. This is the one and only legendary David Dennis from Ventana Surfboards.
So I came over just to give Jay a special gift,
What is
very
that gift?
secret gift.
What is that
It's a
gift?
piece of wood.
I know. What, you're giving a piece of wood?
And we're still keeping this secret. It's a piece of wood and a nail. And it's from something that's very special in the world of John Steinbeck. And we'll be announcing at Ventana Surfboards and Supplies soon.
You're here
I'll
now.
I'll give you a hint. It's from an incredibly historic boat. And so I'll let maybe a caller see if they can guess what boat related to Steinbeck this wood and this nail comes off of. And so this is a gift that I gave to
That's a really tough one.
831-479-1080.
But we're doing something really cool on September 24th.
Yes.
Saturday, September 24th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Steamer Lane at the Lighthouse parking lot, 701 West Cliff Drive. It's called Ocean's Edge. It's a food truck and artisan fair. We're going to try to make it as plastic free as possible. We're telling all the vendors no single-use plastic. We've got 11 artisan vendors, all local, 5 food trucks. We'll have music. It's going to be a blast. You can picnic on the lawn. We'll have food in the food trucks for lunch and for dinner. So 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Ocean's Edge at the Steamer Lane parking lot, Saturday, September 4th. It's going to be really fun.
That's going to be a great event.
Yeah.
Every event you have has got food. I love that about your events. Every time I'm going to come to one of your events, I'm going to get fed.
Yeah, this one won't have beer. Sometimes we created a beer with Humble Sea Brewery. This one won't have beer. It's family friendly. The city's got some issue with us serving alcohol at this one. But if this one's a success, we're going to go big. We want to close down West Cliff Drive for a few hours and do a huge, like they do open streets. So at some point we'll do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. September 24th.
Are you done? Can we go to what?
Can
we go to Jay?
I would love to go to Jay. This isn't about me. This is about Jay Nichols.
Jay, where do you want to go now, Jay?
I just want to go back to this piece of wood because this piece of wood.
You're gonna give it away, aren't you?
And this is my favorite. This is the best gift I've ever gotten in my life, I think. And I'm I could cry. I'm not kidding. I don't want to give it away, but the vessel that this wood and this nail came out of is legendary in the literary world and the scientific world, which is kind of hard to do, both of those things. And the book that was written while Steinbeck was standing on this wood is probably one of my all-time favorites for sure. I read it probably 20 times, and it's
Can we give the name of the book away? You're gonna get
sure. You do this to me every time. I don't tell anyone anything, and then I come on this show and Neil sucks it out of me. So the book is called The Log from the Sea of Cortez. We'll be using this wood in, we make reclaimed hollow wooden surfboards at Ventana, and this will be wood that'll show up in some really, really special surfboards. But that's the book, that's the wood, that's the nail. I will not name the boat, but someone can call in and tell us what the name of the boat is.
All right, we've got Glenn.
But we can mention that the boat is being repurposed for educational and scientific purposes.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was lost for a while. It was refound. It's being turned into a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art ocean research vessel. It's pretty special.
Let's see if Glenn knows. Glenn, do you know?
Is it the Western Flyer?
You are absolutely right.
Bingo.
Let's go.
You win.
Doc Ricketts and John Steinbeck sailed it down in the 40s
you win,
into the Sea of Cortez.
Out of
Glenn,
Monterey.
you win a $25 gift certificate to People's Coffee.
Woohoo!
Call back, please, and give Chris your name, would you, buddy?
And you can touch this piece
I will.
of wood.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you. We're awesome.
I can touch the wood?
Yeah, the wood's right here. We're touching wood right here. Yeah, come on down to the radio station. Touch the wood.
Actually, September 24th at the Lane, we'll have some of the wood if you want to just gently massage it.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Glenn, for calling.
And the
Appreciate
nail.
it, buddy.
Touch a nail. I would say bite a nail.
Doctor, where are we?
Where are we? What do you want to talk about?
We got off you with a wet T-shirt,
Right.
and Jay with the wet
Thank
T-shirt.
you.
Can we get more serious, please?
Yes.
To talk about the 7 ages of water. Did you want to kind of just finish up with that?
Yeah, I think that the idea of this next book, as the title implies, is to go deeper, and there's more to be said about the intersection between water and our lives, and in each of those chapters is just a pile of fascinating new research. So, Dan mentioned, kids learn better when they're outside and playing. They do. There's research that we know that intuitively as people who have lived through it, and teachers know it, but there's also neuropsychological research that shows it's great.
But
I was gonna say is put a kid in front of a TV watching the ocean, or put a kid on a seat of his pants on the beach looking at the ocean, and you could analyze brain scans, and it'd be amazing. I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So the research is in. It's clear. Play is good for us. Lifelong play. It's not just for kids. You should play all your life.
I want to read what you wrote. Water is both lover and mother, murderer and life giver, source and sink. Water unleashes the uninhibited child in all of us, unlocking our creativity and curiosity. What gets that passage? It says, you said murderer.
Yeah.
Right? And we last week were fascinated, TC, with what happened with Sean Dollar.
Amazing.
And he was almost murdered.
He almost murdered himself
by the ocean where he was surfing at, and broke his neck, and now has long-term effects. Mm-hmm. So the ocean, as much as we sit here and we talk about how, it's got its bad side too.
Absolutely, you need to be educated, prepared, informed, and safe, no matter what you do around the water, and that includes a swimming pool. And so it's all water is, it'll take your life if you don't know what you're doing and you're not careful. And that's kind of where the red mind and the blue mind kind of go together. There's a fear factor in a lot of ocean activities, especially at the highest levels. We talk about Sean and big waves. Well, it's, you're on the edge right there, and you get it right or you get it wrong. And you get it right, it's glorious, and you're a champion. You get it wrong, and you find yourself in the ER.
Right.
And dealing with the lifelong impacts of that, or worse,
right,
as we know. So that edge is what is part of what this is about. That that push-pull experience of being on the water and having a little bit of fear going on. It's not all just chilling out and falling asleep, of course. So that red mind, blue mind play back and forth is part of what makes the ocean so interesting to us.
I feel like extreme levels of that are the guys who row to Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
To me, that is such an extreme thing to do on the ocean, and being able to keep a clear mind while doing a 30-day row in the middle of nowhere.
You've got other people in that kind of realm. You've got Chris Burdish, who's about to go paddle
across the Atlantic.
And you've got
and with no support boat, right?
No.
Yeah.
And you've got Kim Rutherford, who swam from Monterey to Santa Cruz, no wetsuits, 27 hours against the current.
People like that. What I think they had a great time in the womb.
Yeah, right.
I really do. I think like their experience in the womb was awesome, and they're just ready to continue it.
Yeah, and those people are the ones who grab the headlines, and they're that's exciting stuff. Most of us are not swimming across the Monterey Bay or supping across the Atlantic. I mean, that's not on my bucket
riding
list.
a 70-foot wave.
Or riding a 70-foot wave. We're doing our thing. We're doing it safely.
Yep.
We're enjoying it. We're doing it with those we love most in this world. We were talking earlier. A good holiday is catching some waves and then a nice meal.
Yeah.
And so that's what we live for, and that's the blue mind life. That's what the book is about. That end to end, these elite athletes aside, a good life is one that involves water at every stage, from birth to death. We're born from water. Ideally, our parents teach us to swim at an early age, and it opens up 71% of the planet to our lives,
right,
and adventures.
How do you feel? Like, you're from you live on the coast, obviously. How's the vibe of our town compared to the vibe of I'm going back to Kansas again.
Yeah.
Back to
what do you got against Kansas?
Nothing.
Have you been there?
We'll take Toronto. I mean, it's somewhere in the Midwest.
Nice rivers there. Nice.
Right.
Nice
I mean, is there a different? Do you feel us? Are we more relaxed, or are we more? As TC said, we haven't had surf in a week and we're pissed off.
Yeah, I think I'd rather compare
to who you want.
Let's compare ourselves to ourselves.
Yes.
Let's just say, imagine Santa Cruz, and imagine think of all the stress that the ocean sucks out of our community, like on a daily basis. Like, people go there they walk the beach, they sit and watch the sunset, they surf, they paddle, they sail, they free dive, they swim, all the things we do in this community related to the coast and the ocean. Now, all that stress that gets pulled out of us that allows us to go back home and be a better version of ourselves.
Yeah.
At work, in our homes, with those we love, with our colleagues. Now just take all that stress that the ocean has sucked out of our community and put it back in. Just take it out, get a stress remover device and take that stress right out of the ocean and put it in a ball, bring it on the land, and sprinkle it around, give everybody their share back, and get out of the way. Like, lock your doors, man. Just like, just, really, seriously.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we think we have problems now in this town. Imagine how severe it could be.
Code red, right?
Yep.
That's just extreme, homeland security is in that lockdown mode, and we better just be careful. That's imagine that. So, and I'm not saying that every community that doesn't have an ocean is in that mode, but every community has a way of letting off stress. So, in the Midwest, it's the Cubs game. You go to Wrigley Field and you just let your stress off. You go to Lake Michigan, and you go to open green spaces and blue spaces, and so every community has their outlet, and we need to fight to maintain access to those places.
Right.
And that means we need to know how to swim. We need to know how to move in the blue space. Right. We need to do it safely.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure when we get there, it isn't gross.
No.
Because if you go there and it's got oil spill, it's got plastic pollution, it smells bad, you don't get your blue mind on.
No.
Nothing good about it. You go home and you're pissed, you're grumpy, you're mad,
Sick.
you're sad, you're sick.
Yeah.
And you may end up just fighting for your whole life to make it adequate for the next generation. And there's some people who have done that.
Well, I wanted to say one thing real quick. We mentioned it during the break. Ocean has the possibility of making you sick, but it also has a much greater possibility of making you healthier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
As long as
healing.
it's healthy.
And healing. And that could be mentally. And we talked about it at break with some of the organizations that bring people to the beach to get their brains back in a better place.
You're listening to the Off It Radio Show right here on KSCO. Speaking of the Cubs game, one of our sponsors tonight is at the Cubs game, Dave Spencer from Santa Cruz Subaru, which is no longer Santa Cruz Subaru, Mazda or Kia, just Subaru. They got rid of the other two.
I was there today.
Subaru. Get a Subaru?
I'm going to get my daughter a Subaru. I was there
today.
today.
Let's have to talk to Dave. Anyway, Dave from Santa Cruz Subaru right there on 41st and Highway 1. This portion show is brought to you by, maybe we need one of these, a gun, Santa Cruz Armory. They carry top brands of firearms and accessories for all your shooting or hunting needs. A lifetime family-operated business with a friendly, knowledgeable staff without, David Dennis, without the gun shop attitude.
Ba-boom!
Love Santa Cruz Armory. 706-7374. Take care of your armory needs. Neil TC with Dr. Wallace J. Nichols, Dan Hafley, and the one and only David Dennis. We'll be right back. This very short break. Don't go away.
That was good.
That's my favorite commercial, the gun shop vibe.
Yeah.
I love it.
He pulled that off really
Hey, you know what you forgot, though? You forgot to say that they will come
This is Numa and Isaac from Aloha Island Grill. Well, summer's right around the corner here in Santa Cruz, and that means one thing. It's time to come get your grind on at the Aloha Island Grill.
Come over to Aloha Island Grill and eat some food.
We're located on the corner of Portola and 17th Avenue, and we've got a beautiful lanai for you to come sit out on. We've got a fine assortment of plate lunch, fresh ahi poke, and other wonderful treats for you to enjoy.
My favorite food at Aloha Island Grill is Kalua Pig.
We've got ice-cold beer and wine for those hot summer days, and try some of our homemade POG, Passion Orange Guava Juice. It's delicious. For to-go orders, give us a call at 479-3299. Find us on the web at alohaislandgrill.com or come on down to 1700 Portola Drive. Aloha Island Grill is a proud member of Think Local First.
Hey, it's Fran from Steamer Lane Supply, a new snack stop located across the street from Steamer Lane in Lighthouse Field. Healthy and quick food, great organic coffee, house-made soft drinks, and surf essentials like wax, leashes, and sunblock are available to fuel your stoke. 5% discount if you're in your wetsuit, and there's even a menu just for dogs. Hours are Tuesday through Sunday, 7:30 to 7. Look for our food truck on the weekends, serving great fish tacos. And we're on Facebook and Instagram at Steamer Lane Supply. Hope to see you out there.
Chill Out Cafe on 41st Avenue, Santa Cruz is not just a block from some of the world's best surf, but it is also where you can go relax and order the tastiest grub before and after your sesh. Plump burritos, fresh salads, sky-high sandwiches, and a superb selection of hot and cold drinks. They have something for you. Go to chilloutcafesantacruz.com to view their menu, and to place your order to go, call 831-477-0543. Chill Out Cafe, where they roll the fatties.
And we're back with the Off It Radio Show. Last couple of minutes, I want to get back to Dan Hafley. You got tickets going on?
We have tickets going on. So the 20th anniversary involves a party, and this party is party. And this is going to be a green party in that we will raise some green, but also we will, for example, have our repurposed wine glasses, thanks to Goodwill.
Okay.
Some wonderful food. We're going to have an auction, some history, some great entertainment. This will be September 17th, a Saturday.
Tickets can be bought where?
OSO20th.org. OSO20th.org.
Okay.
And
That'll
you make
be
your
good
reservations
times.
there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
It'll be at the Seymour
Center.
Center.
Okay.
Marketing?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll see that.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for listening to the Off the Lip Radio Show tonight. It's a very important show. I want to thank Dr. Wallace J. Nichols for coming on the show. The new book coming out very shortly, this September this year? No, later this year?
Next summer.
Next summer is Go Deeper.
Go Deeper.
If you haven't read it yet, the book that he authored is on the Los Angeles and New York Times bestseller list. Blue Mind. Do not miss it. I want to thank the one and only, my good friend, my dear friend, David Dennis, coming on the show. I'm sure he'll be back next week. TC, we're off to Star Benny. If any of our guests want to come with us to Star Benny, we're off there for our Tuesday night chow.
The chicken piccata.
And I think he's back.
Oh, Sergio's back?
Sergio is back.
Awesome.
So we're going to head down there. I want to thank Dan, Jay, David. Thanks for coming on the show. I want to thank Mike, our camera operator tonight. TC, thanks, man. I love you, buddy.
Hey, good times.
See you next week with another Off the Lip Radio Show. Very important show next week when we have the 50th anniversary of the Santa Cruz Lifeguards and Junior Lifeguard Program. Going to have some great guests. You're not going to want to miss this show. It's going to be a good one. So we're going to celebrate that. I want to thank again all you guys coming to the show. It's been great tonight. If you missed the show, it's on offthelipradio.com. It'll be on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and on YouTube. As soon as the show is over, go check it out. Thanks for listening, everybody. Good night.
From Capitola to Carmel, Red Hot News Talk, AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz.